Oh,
it
it's
like
9
a
o'clock.
maze?
Just turned 9 o'clock.
It's like a maze for me, all right.
Wow.
We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning, everyone. Welcome to the October 21st meeting of the Board of County Commissioners. My name is Shelley Bueller, and I have the privilege of serving as chair of the commission. And good morning, Commissioner Archer. Good morning, Commissioner Cook.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. We have a fairly short agenda, so we'll get started. Madam Clerk.
First item is item 3, consent agenda.
Are there questions on the consent agenda?
Motion to approve is presented.
Second.
There's a motion by Commissioner Archer, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor of the motion say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0.
Item 4, new business, A, County Clerk number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Madam Chair, this morning we have one set of voucher payments dated October 18th, 2013, and the total amount of $862,159.38. My questions have been answered regarding the vouchers, and I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Second.
So motion by Commissioner Archer, second by Commissioner Cook. I did have one question. I sent an email, but I don't know if it was received. Just had a question as to why all the U.S. Bank charges under Parks and Recreation. And Simon, do you know the answer to that?
I can answer that.
Thank you.
They still have the U.S. Bank Visa cards,
Thank you.
as opposed to UMB. They haven't switched over yet. So
Okay.
So yeah,
That
it's not.
Thought
you know
that
what, bank,
what
yeah.
it was what it was, but I didn't want to assume that. So okay. You did.
Send it tomorrow, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. All those in favor of the motion say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0.
There are no correction orders today. Item B, Public Works, Solid Waste. Number 1, consider approval of an emergency purchase to update and fix fire extinguishers in a total amount of $1,571.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tom Blanc with Public Works and Solid Waste. This is a Public Works item. Each year we have our fire extinguishers tested and serviced for all the extinguishers we have in all our equipment and vehicles. The cost to do that is $3 a piece. So when we had set up Kansas Fire and Safety to go do that, we were anticipating that the cost of this would be much less than the $1,500 just for the inspection. But as I got into it and determined all the parts that needed to be replaced and several extinguishers needed to be replaced to keep them up to current standards, the actual cost came in at $1,571. And since that went above our $1,500 threshold as per the purchasing resolution, that is why it was before you. And I put it in as an emergency request because we wanted to make sure we had well, we actually had to do the work, but we wanted to make sure we had proper working fire equipment. So if there's any questions regarding this, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Thanks, Tom. Any questions?
Motion to approve the emergency purchase.
Second.
There's a motion by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0.
Item B2, consider approval of an emergency purchase of parts for a Public Works truck in a total amount of $1,839.01.
Commissioners, Tom Block again with Public Works and Solid Waste. This too is a Public Works item. This particular item is, again, as mentioned in the memo, this is just for parts. All the work will be done by our own staff. Since the parts, again, went above the $1,500 threshold as per our purchasing resolution, brought before you as an emergency purchase once again so that we get the truck out and running as quickly as possible. So if there's any questions regarding that, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Motion to approve the emergency purchase.
Second.
There's a motion by Commissioner Archer, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor of the motion say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0.
Item B3, consider approval of request to award bid for calcium chloride at a cost of $20,700.
Commissioners, Tom Block again, Public Works and Solid Waste. This too is a Public Works item. We went out for bid for calcium chloride, which is used for snow and ice control for the winter months. We received just the one bid from Scottwood Industries, and this is pretty common ever since I've been with the county. Scottwood Industries typically is about the only firm that bids on this material. Their bid was $1.03.5 per gallon, and it's our recommendation that the award be given to Scottwood Industries. So if there's any questions regarding that, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Thanks, Tom. No questions?
Madam Chair, just
Yes.
one. Mr. Glock, the calcium chloride, is there a reason why we use the calcium chloride as opposed to the beet juice or what other communities have used in snow removal or ice?
We use this just periodically. We use this only when temperatures get very low. Typically, we use salt. But when temperatures are anticipated to be extremely low, like I think salt gets you down to 15 degrees Fahrenheit as far as when it's effective. When we're anticipating extended temperatures below that, we will spray some of our sand. If we place sand, we'll coat it with the calcium chloride and so treat the roads when the temperature's going to be much lower.
So it would be fair to say this is only used in extreme weather conditions?
Yes. This isn't used every storm that we have. It is for extreme cold temperatures.
Nothing further.
Okay. Any questions?
No.
Motion to approve?
There's a motion to approve by Commissioner Cook.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Item C, Health Agency, number 1, consider approval of request to fill 2 ARNP positions at a total annual cost per position, including benefits, of $101,117.16.
Good morning, Commissioners. Alice Weingartner, Shawnee County Health Agency. The request before you is to fill 2 nurse practitioner positions. The total cost for both positions would be $202,234.32, and these positions are funded through reimbursement of services and grant funding that we receive for the 330. These positions, filling these positions would keep us at a level base of 8 providers. One of the other pluses of this timing, it's always unfortunate to lose providers, but Washburn University will be graduating a class of nurse practitioners come December. And so we would definitely pursue filling those positions from that class. Any other questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Alice, where are these people located? Are they at Maine or California?
One of each. One of the clinicians is a provider who has gone to an intermittent status, and she did that so that we weren't losing a number of providers at one time. And we agreed that she would stay at intermittent status until we filled that vacancy, and so that's what we're looking to fill, her position. And then another one would be at the California clinic.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions?
I'll make a motion to approve the request.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Archer, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor of the motion say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Item 5, Administrative Communications.
Commissioners, Cindy Evans with K-State Research and Extension, just bringing you a brief update on a program I'm heavily involved in every year this time.
Thank you.
I've been a certified senior health insurance counselor since Medicare began the drug plans fall of 2005 for the first year in 2006. Last year, I did 267 plan comparisons, and 115 people changed plans, saving about $97,000. This year looks to be a real banner year. I think we're going to beat that really by a lot. And so I wanted to show you how we educate people, because the role of extension is to be educators, not just service providers. So I'm always helping people consider the cost, the monthly premiums, deductibles, drug copays. And in Medicare, there are 4 different paying levels. Deductible level, if a plan has a deductible. Initial, which is kind of like the insurance that we enjoy as employees, that we pay about 25%, the plan pays about 75%. The coverage gap, where years ago when the plans first started, people paid 100% of the drug cost in the gap. in addition to paying their premium. Because of the Affordable Care Act, that got knocked down to 50% 2 years ago, and currently people pay 47.5% of a name brand drug and 78% of a generic drug when they are in the coverage gap. And if their drug costs are high enough, they will get to a catastrophic level, which is about a 5%, 95% split. About 2 years ago, plans started having preferred pharmacies. So this year we've got 28 plans on the Plan Finder. Many of them will work with certain pharmacies but not others, and so they'll give preferential price, but people need to know that. I can call a pharmacy and say, who are your preferred pharmacies? And their response is, we accept all the plans. That does not mean which ones gets the preferential pricing. And so I need to ask people about coverage, if their drugs, I need to find out if they're on the formulary. I need to find about limitations and educate people about prior authorizations, step therapies, and quantity limits of their drugs, which vary from plan to plan. And then finally, convenience. Some people will use mail orders, some want retail pharmacy. Some people will pay more to use a pharmacy close to their home because they're sending a neighbor down to pick up their drugs. But I'm giving you an example here of somebody I helped last week who with a plan change is saving $8,000. And this is what is troublesome to me this time of year, is that the plan that he was on was a really good plan last year. His drug list is a $24,000 drug list. And I will note there's no identifying information, on here about this person. So his drugs are over $2,000 a month if he didn't have any insurance. Last year, this plan cost him $5,636. So this year, when we bring it up, the same thing, same drugs, cost $12,745. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going on here? And the difference is that the plan has dropped 2 of his very expensive drugs. One is the insulin, another one is a Spiriva inhaler. One costs around $300 a month, one around $400 a month. When people don't compare and they just think, hey, I really like this plan, I'm just going to continue on to next year, they can be in for a really rude awakening. And so these first 2 sheets I've shown you are what his costs were exactly in 2013. And it will give you an example of the kind of drug list I can be looking at. I think this one has 18 medications on it. If you look at the third page, you'll see I've kind of highlighted, so yours is grayed, that last year one of the 3 drugs was not on the formulary. The other 2, the Humulin and the Spiriva, were, but they were tier 3s. So you might be getting a $70 copay versus this year simply not being on the formulary. The plans send an annual notice of change letter, but what it tells you is, here's what you're going to pay for a generic, here's what you pay for preferred. It doesn't say, oh, by the way, a couple of drugs you were taking last year were dropping. People have to know to go compare themselves to find that. And the last sheet I've got for you, the third one, is just how I can do a side-by-side comparison for people to take a look at their choices. As I said, there's 28 plans on the Plan Finder. I always compare the plan they're currently on because I am not encouraging people to change plans if they're not saving, $100 or more. People will change for $30, and I will help them do that if that's what they want, but I'm not out there pushing people to change. We hope that they can be loyal to plans just like we'd like plans to do a good job being loyal to them. So I always have the plan they're on, and then we usually pick a couple of the cheapest ones. Today I picked just 3, showing you how across the board this can be. 3 plans. You can see the first one has a premium of $52.50, no deductible. The second one in the middle, $46, no deductible. The last one, $20.30, no deductible. And if you drop down, you can see that the plan he actually enrolled in is going to cost him $4,323. But the next cheapest, or not the next cheapest, one I picked here to show you, $7,878. The third one, which was the plan he was on last year, $12,587, and it was not the most expensive plan. So that's why I do this education. I'm expecting that I will help close to 300 people. We get 12 to 15 forms a day. I have over 200 now. So I'm thinking by middle of next week, I will have no more spots between now and December 7th. Are there any questions?
How does the public get a hold of you, though, if they
Well,
want
I
more
do not
information?
advertise, because honestly, there's
Yeah.
not enough of us. I bet
Yeah.
there's less than 15 of us in the city that do this. people know by word of mouth. Whenever I send out who I've helped the year before, I include an extra sheet that they can give a friend. And if people call, I take them, but I take them in the order. Everybody is in queue by the day their information came to me. And I will simply be out of time because of other things that I do as well. You know, I answer food safety questions and things like that. I have to keep a little bit of time to answer, you know, calls. But this time of year, I work Saturday and Sunday this week up there trying to, you know, get things, and I have good help. But they can get a hold of me at the office for as long as we've got time slots available.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
How did K-State Extension get into this?
Back in 2005 at a national level, when Medicare was bringing this, they went to USDA at a national level and asked if Extension could be a partner because we're known for education and we're in every county of the state. There are about 15 Extension agents that are in this work at this time. But, you know, Jayhawk Area Agency on Aging has counselors, you know, too. Some of the hospitals, El Centro, I don't know, there's a few others, but honestly, there's not nearly enough, you know, and the reason I am in this is because financial education is my primary program area. There's a lot of money that people choose well. The money they save can be redirected to other financial needs in their home. And so that's my role in the education, is trying to help them make sure they've got the finances that they need. But that's why Extension, that's how we got into it to begin with.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else for communications? Yes.
Good morning, Commissioners, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sylvester Rice. I'm here to ask 3 basic questions, and the questions are about the Abbott Community Center on 10th Street. I'm a user of the center when it was opened in order to attend NIA meetings and other activities. My first question is, have you made a decision on the disposition of the center? The second question is, have you arrived at a conclusion about the funding for the center? And the third question is, what rules are you utilizing in order to make a determination? Conclusively speaking, I have done administrative investigation and found that in the past, decisions that were made don't follow a standard rule of fair and equality and due process and equal protection of the law and so forth and so on. So conclusively speaking, the processes that you have used in the past have violated the rights and the civil rights of some of the citizens on the east side. And it's because of that and because of the issues that I've discovered, I thought it would be best to come before you verbally and publicly and elicit answers before I make a determination as to what should be exposed and what should not be exposed. And I'll sit and wait for your comments.
Okay. Go ahead, Commissioner Archer.
Thank you. Thank you, sir, for showing up. Could you give me some specific examples of where we have been, what did you call it, discriminatory in
Yes,
how we have?
absolutely.
Please.
I would rather do that in writing so that there would be sufficient notice and further action can be taken as a result of that, because this is not sworn testimony, it's not a court of law.
Right.
And I would suggest and humorously and conveniently accuse you of knowing what to do when you assume the position of Commissioner of Shawnee County. And let me give you this example as a fact. Each one of you raise your right hand and say that I solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America and of the state of Kansas. Period. We don't have to go any further to enumerate the discrepancies that come as a result of those obligations and that oath. Specifically, you have allowed the BP service station to accommodate interstate travel, and that interstate travel by Greyhound violates the federal statute on public accommodations for interstate travel. You do that so knowingly and willingly. You've been notified about this as well as the city and the state, and you continue to do so. Therefore, it's not just the county, it's the city, the county, and the state. That's one instance, and if you analyze your own work, and you'll see the multiplicities of other violations that are out here waiting to be corrected. So getting back to the Abbott Center, that's just one instance. And the final instance is if you would take a physical tour of the West Topeka and then come back to the East Topeka, you would think East Topeka is a graveyard. Is that sufficient information for you?
I have some comments. Are you finished,
Well,
Commissioner Archer, or do you want
I-
to respond?
I can only think of one community center in the western part of Topeka, and that's Crestview. I don't think we've got any more than the one, and it's not in great shape. As a matter of fact, we just closed the pool there, sadly. So I don't know specifically what you're talking about, but if you would put it in writing, I think that'd be great, and I think we need to investigate it. I always like to have things in writing so we can follow up. So, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes. No decisions have been made, no funding decisions have been made by this body. Our professional staff with John Knight as our Parks and Rec Director and his senior staff have been having multiple meetings on the impact of the budget, and they are putting together recommendations for this body, those that they need commission approval on. But this is a Parks and Recreation and those mission-critical services of Parks and Recreation, and looking at all quadrants of the community. This is not an east side, west side conversation, in my opinion. It's Parks and Recreation and the mission and where those services are. We have a great asset at Lake Shawnee on the east side. Our roles are to make sure that we listen to our professionals, hear from our constituents, and then make the best decision that we can. Commissioner Cook?
Well, I was just going to see if Mr. Knight might be able just to give us a little bit of an update, maybe to answer some of the questions.
Yeah, good morning, Commissioners. John Knight, Parks and Recreation. There are, as you might expect, a lot of work going on behind the scenes right now. Well, in fact, Randy Luby, I think, is meeting with people in the county councilor's offices this morning to put some finishing touches, we hope, onto an RFP, which we can put out for a couple of weeks and find out which community groups have been able to come together as partners, or if there's groups out there who want to help Shawnee County Parks and Rec move forward with both the Abbott, Rice, and the other community centers, like Commissioner Bueller stated. We're looking at everything that Shawnee County Parks and Rec does to see the financial benefits and where our resources should be placed. Be happy to answer any other questions you may have.
Thank you, John.
Anyone else for administrative communications? Next item, please.
Item 6, executive sessions.
We do have a need for an executive session for a period not to exceed 30 minutes for non-elected personnel and consult with legal and real estate. And that is the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor of the motion say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0, and no action anticipated, but 30 minutes.